Hi friends, it's my honor to introduce to you Dr. Arushi Rai, rank 8 AIMS May
Thank you so
2018.
much, sir. Thank you so much.
Awesome rank, awesome performance, heartiest congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
So how are you feeling today?
I'm very happy, very relieved. The whole process is done now, and
Done
I've
and
got what
dusted.
I wanted. I'm very
Yes.
happy.
I think that is success when you get the branch of your choice,
Yes, sir.
and
And the place of your
in
choice,
the
I'm very
apex most
happy.
institute in the country, there's nothing more than that
Yes,
you
sir.
can do. It's like
So,
awesome.
definitely.
And I will take a moment here to congratulate your parents as well.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
for them, I think it would be the big landmark now. The kid
Yes,
is now going forward.
yes, sir. I owe a lot of my success to my parents. Obviously, matlab, that goes without saying. Since I was at home for 4 months and they were my main pillars of support, my mom has always been there to lift me up when I feel dejected. And like, she can pick me up when I'm very, very depressed. And that is obviously there.
Yes. So did you wish her happy Mother's Day?
Yeah, and the results came on that day itself,
Did you do
actually.
that?
Yeah, on Mother's Day, actually, my school had called our mother they'd picked some 4 5 students to felicitate them.
Yeah.
So that day, and then that night, the results also came. So my mom was like, I'm very happy on Mother's Day.
That is so great of you. So you had joined us for the AIMS fast track test and
Yes,
discussion that
sir.
we had done.
Yes, sir.
So how was your experience with the course?
So it was very, very helpful. I attended wherever I felt deficient because I was on a very short time
You were running actually.
time crunch, 4 months. So like obs gynae, I was very clueless as to how to go about the subject. It's huge. You can't really pick up a guidebook and do it. So it gave me. I got the regular class notes also, Deepthi ma'am's notes, and I did the TND. So I got everything consolidated, concepts. Well, it was a good revision. It was very useful. Same with Anupama ma'am's physiology is very good with all the graphs and Genong based discussion. It's very useful. And Dr. Tiwari's class, it was awesome.
Yeah.
That's-
Dr. Tiwari, I think he integrates everything.
in that short span of time, he gives you concepts and plus the points which are needed. You get good notes at the end of his class. It's nice class. I really enjoyed those classes.
And
Very
did you utilize the ebooks app where we had put up the AIMS previous papers
Yes, sir.
for
That
quick revision?
I used the previous years. I solved from that only because it's given in a subject-wise manner, which is easier to do. So you can pick up one subject and revise it, and it's only past 3 years, which is just exactly the amount that you need with crisp and short discussions. So you can go through it very quickly, and then if you feel some topic you need to refer back, you can quickly do that as well. So that was very, very helpful. That's what I did in the last 5 to 7 days.
Actually, what I've seen is in India, what has happened over the past few years is people who are writing guidebooks, sometimes they don't know what to write. So what they do is in the explanations, they copy, paste the entire chapter. So that kind of, and as a student, you don't know that am I supposed to read it or am I not supposed to read it? So you end up reading it, and in the end, you put so much time,
A lot
but
of
the
time
message
goes.
was in 2 lines only.
Yes, they'll write the same thing from 4 different references. I think they're trying to make it sound like which is that they've referred 4 5 standard, but you don't have one of that's
But
just very
they can't
haphazard.
give a crux thing. So that and then
We need a crux, a short.
you need a quick message that these are the
Yes,
3 points to remember, and that
that's
helps
why the
because-
books become so fat.
Yes. And when they become so fat, what happens is sometimes they become discouraging, sometimes they take a lot of time.
Huh.
And what happens is for a mid-year AIMS, the secret to success is time management. If you don't manage your time properly, what will happen? The mid-year will fly away and you end up looking at November.
Yeah, that's
So
an
the
entire
reason because
year.
I feel that you've done well is because you manage your time pretty well. You are always looking at, okay, this is my deficiency, let me plug this. You are running
yes,
all the time
sir.
because
Cannot do everything.
because you have to revise also, and the May is the exam. If you miss
Yes,
it,
sir.
miss the bus, then November will be the next bus. That is the time management. This is so intelligent of you. And did you utilize the AIMS special discussion that we had done?
I attended the AIMS discussion. I wished it included all 19 subjects to slightly longer, but whatever was there was very, very useful.
We try to pick and choose, like what are the
So it
more
was
important,
very
yeah.
like medicine may for we usually have good notes for systems, but emergencies and those are things we usually miss out, infections, emergencies, but they are very important for AIMS exams. So sir covered that, the new stroke guidelines,
Yeah.
and infectious dengue covered, and blood transfusion, which is a very hot topic these days. They're asking a lot from blood transfusion, so he covered the blood because it is there in guidebooks, but then you don't know what is important, what is the differentiating point. That was very, very useful. And that Ames discussion, everything, gynae was very useful. Radio, matlab, I found it very interesting. Some very new things, na, so it is always interesting to find those things. Everything was nice. That discussion was a very matlab, short and crisp, very useful. It was definitely 2 days, very
Worth it.
useful, worth it.
So did you enjoy the e-learning initiatives that we have, like eMedico's app and the
हाँ sir,
Facebook group?
I've used a lot of मतलब e-medicos में there was mop-ups in the end, psyche mop-up, I saw that. Clinical psychiatry sir had made a video, and psychopharmacology. Those things I had seen in the last 4 or 5 days. It was very useful. And even otherwise, this DAMS unplugged sessions and all, na, मतलब, they're not, I've seen it every now and then for a short break to break the monotony, and it keeps the interest. I remember neurobrucellosis and all that I've seen. I really enjoyed those sessions.
So
It's fun.
do you see that
Nice.
we are touching things that sometimes we may not, or anybody may not touch in a classroom because they are like
so-
on the fringes. But in the
Yeah.
exams, because they hit the fringes, so we try to keep giving you more and more through different media.
That kind of, it's interest, not just for entrance point of view. It's very, it's a
Interesting to know.
very nice approach. Anatomy, and I saw those subclavian artery anomalies, dysphagia lucioria. So anatomy and radiology. It's that's very nice. It's very interesting.
It's so kind of you to appreciate, because when you appreciate it, it makes us want to do more. Because like when toppers and high achievers like you, when they use our material, and then when you appreciate, we also feel good. We feel validated that we were going in the right direction. And can you now help us by telling us the difference between the pattern of AIIMS exam and the PGI exam?
So Ames, matlab,
Because you
what-
have done well
yeah.
in both, so, and more well in AIIMS. So can you guide us and the listeners here that what do you think is the crux of cracking the AIIMS exam? What topics do you think are important? What kind of aggressiveness you do when you're marking in AIIMS? And how do you hold back when you're in PGI because of the
Okay.
negative marking? What is your take on
Yeah.
it?
So Ames is, matlab, it is a very conceptual exam. So I think I was able to do very well. I attempted Ames in November also, and even then I got the medicine surgery conceptual questions right. But my first year, second year minors were totally untouched in November. This time I brushed up and I could get almost all the questions correct from anat, physio, biochem, minors. So that made all the difference. And AIIMS is a very conceptual exam, lot of visuals, lot of things which you'll just remember from your professional exams, from your practicals, from your wards. PGI is much more theory intensive, so you'll reach there once you do 2-3 revisions properly, which I wasn't there yet. So yeah, and past years is very important for PGI. It's important for AIIMS. Topics are very important, get repeated quite often. I think 4 or 5 direct repeats also. And but PGI is like they'll pick
More,
the same
PGI does
question,
more, right?
exactly the same question they'll give, and topics are kind of different. You need to have revised those things, facts, much more facts. And yeah, the marking approach in matlab, PGI, last time I didn't know about this thing that you have to be careful and mark
which is
only when
very
you're
important.
sure. So my rank was 600 something. I went and marked everything. I had no idea. So this time, even though I knew very little, but I have marked only where I'm very sure. I marked 400 something options and I got 51. So I'm guessing it was a okay approach because I knew.
But you maybe, I think you went, because I've talked to many rankers this year and most of them were like 450, 500.
Okay.
Maybe when you were holding the bat back, you hold it little bit more.
Too much.
Little bit more, and maybe maybe that is the reason for that gap in the two ranks.
Yes,
Maybe. So what I have learned over the years is that in AIIMS we tend to have that 1/3 negative marking. So it is better to go more aggressive in AIIMS as
Yes.
compared to PGI, where the negative
Definitely.
marking would hit you bad. So, and that is a very important message that you have given through this medium, because many people listening to you today would learn that okay, when they are giving their PGI exam, they should not do the mistake that you did in the first go.
Yes, sir.
Because that is like a pity when you're so good a student and you kind of
just because you
just
take
because
the
you
exam.
are, so
yes,
you have to
sir.
kind of know the strategy, know the marking system before you go. And any particular topics that you want to highlight that you felt were asked in AIIMS this year as compared to the previous 3 years, like any topics you thought that they were picking something new, any new trend that you could see as a person appearing for the exam?
So, like for example, PSM is usually what we know is biostats. They usually ask biostats, some problems. This time there were no problem-based questions. There was one chi-square test which was there, but there were others. PSM also, the proper programs wala stuff, which we tend to ignore. I had not read that. And surgery also, there was some stuff other than general surgery. So I think that is, they'll always add something new every time, which is the good thing is no one is really ready with that kind of a thing, so you're fine. But then you can do logical ruling out in AIMS. That's there. A lot of questions where I had no idea, and in November I didn't even try those questions. But once you're confident with the rest of your preparation, you that's when you have the courage to take risks also. So and you can rule out logically, and you can kind of guess the answer with a significant confidence.
Yeah. But that guessing is tough to do in PGI because
Very
more than
tough.
one answer is
You
right.
can't guess, yeah.
What I feel is in PGI, in 250 questions, 5 choices, they kind of put everything into it. They put all the
You
theory
have
of
to
the
know
yes.
it. You either know it or you don't.
Yeah.
There's no ruling out, doesn't work there.
And how many questions did you attempt in
I
AIMS?
attempted 187.
187, and I see most of the toppers are like 185
I
plus.
attempted slightly less than the others, but then those 13 were questions where I had no clue, so I knew that if I attempt, I'll probably just
Usually the rule of the thumb is that if you have no clue, you should leave
it.
Are you able to rule out 2, then
Then you
play?
should
That
attempt.
is the usual
That's
rule
what
of
I
the thing.
followed.
And if you are only able to rule out 1 gray zone, then nobody knows you should play or you should leave.
Yes,
But if you are able to rule out 2, you should do.
You should.
And if you are not able to
definitely
know
do.
any of the 4 choices,
Then you should leave it.
But if you leave too many, like if you attempt like 150 names, you're out of the
Not
game.
because AIMS,
You're out of the
either
game.
you don't get it,
Because
or
either you get into
need
clinical
a top
seat or
40
you-
50.
yes, yes.
A
Because number of seats is
midway
very
rank
less.
won't really help you.
So that's the correct strategy to build up. And do you want to advise anything about the revision strategy to anybody? Like how many days to put for revision?
What I planned initially was, because 4 months was very short span of time, so my plan was to around NIMHANS exam, that's like to finish one reading. I had done something before November also, but to consolidate, fill in my weak areas and finish once by NIMHANS. I wasn't able to do that entirely, but to a great extent I was able to. And after that, ideally for exam you should do 2 revisions, 2 to 3. I wasn't able to.
Mid-year is tough.
So then what you do is, in the 40 days you have remaining, you do your weaknesses and the high yield things. You don't try to do everything in complete circles, but you don't have that kind of time. So like I picked up Himat from Path, and that I made sure I did it very well, because you cannot not read Himat and go for the exam. And most of the subjects, that's what I did, and it was a useful approach. Like in pharma I revised antimicrobials and diabetes. This time they didn't ask, but they usually always ask a question, and they'll ask some not so common side effects, so you need to have revised it 2-3 days back. That's what I did for every subject. Micro, I picked up mycology and parasitology. I revised that. That kind of a thing you can do in the last 1 month. You can, and past years give you an idea ki what topics you should pick. And TND is a very good way to revise, because TND is like a subjects expert has made for you, na. So that is a gist of all the relevant and the new important things. So that is a good way to revise in a short span of time. In the end,
in our TND usually we try that in one paper I try to put all topics,
yes,
so that at least the representation of everything is touched upon, so that everything can be brushed upon.
yes, sir, definitely.
And now let me put you in a hot seat, and I'll now ask you to say something motivating for the future aspirants.
It's very important to stay motivated for me, because I was nowhere in the picture in November. My rank was 958. So I had to, you have to believe in yourself. There are people out there who have gone from nothing, not qualified, to a top 10 rank within a span of 1 year.
Yeah.
So wherever you are, whatever your position is, you can do anything. Every rank is attainable. Believe in yourself. Don't think too much about the rank. Follow a good strategy, sound strategy. Keep going. Stay motivated. You can do wonders.
Work on your
weaknesses.
I think the crux of whatever I've heard from her, whatever I seen her, what I've learned is that she spent the entire 5-6 months in working on weakness, and in what is her strength, she was working on high yield. And that high yield plus weakness was her mantra for success. And that is where we say strategically, if you are able to work hard but with a good strategy, even in 6 months you can do miracles. Here you are, rank 8th AIMS. Great achievement, great performance. I wish you all the best on behalf of the entire DAMS family. We are very proud of your achievement. Heartiest congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.